It's NASCAR's opening day, and it's Super Bowl race all rolled into one. The 60th running of the Daytona 500, live on Fox.
People are the company. When
NASCAR on Fox Live from Daytona International Speedway, the Great American Race. Driver introductions have been completed. Danica Patrick in her final ride in NASCAR and the Daytona 500. A blend of youth and experience. And speaking of that, 20 years ago this week, the great Dale Earnhardt, his quote after winning his first and only Daytona 500. He said, "I woke up this morning and I still don't believe I won the Daytona 500. Larry McReynolds was his crew chief in that spectacular moment. That was the only Daytona 500 that Dale Earnhardt won. His son Dale Jr. retiring as a driver after last season. And that's the quote that I mentioned moments ago. Junior has won 2 Daytona 500s. A fan favorite, always popular, retiring from the sport, but here as the Grand Marshal in the 60th running of the Great American Race. There's a lot of great quotes about racing. And, if you go back, Ernest Hemingway said auto racing, bullfighting, and mountain climbing are the only real sports. All the others are just games. Well, this is a game among the best drivers, or a race among the best drivers. As we head upstairs to the guys who will take you through the race, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Gordon on their way up to join Mike Joy.
This race, Chris, just has always had controversy and always had close finishes. In 1959, that photo shot you saw launched an inquiry. There was no photo of the cars exactly at the start-finish line. So Bill France had to wait until newsreel footage that had been shipped from Daytona to New York and aired on TV stations and in theaters got shipped back down to Daytona, and they were able to analyze the finish and declare Lee Petty the winner of the first 500. All right, you've signed all the autographs, you've done all the interviews, you've explored all the storylines. Now you're strapped in, the windows net down, and what's the first thing on your mind?
Well, I can't do this by myself. I don't think any driver's ever won this race all by himself. You got to have a fast car, and some of these guys have really fast cars. You got to have a great pit crew. You got to have a spotter. You got to have a spotter that tells you when you're clear, when to move here, when to move there. We see this with the blocks these guys are throwing. So I know I'm not alone. Although I'm in the car by myself, I'm not alone because I got a lot of people helping me.
Well, both Darrell and Jeff know the way to victory lane at the Daytona 500. Was the first one or the last one the sweetest?
Ooh. I think the last one, but they're all sweet. I see the potential of this being one of the most grueling Daytona 500s for these drivers, and I'll tell you why. They're at speeds over 200 miles per hour on the track. We haven't seen that in many years. These cars are very unstable. Now you take the amount of youth that's out there and inexperience, mix that with the veterans. I'm not sure who this is going to play out better for, veterans and experience or that young new talent that's out there.
And Chris, as we saw yesterday in the Xfinity race, NASCAR's overtime rules now has no limit. We'll do this as many times as it takes to get a winner.
And it was 5 overtimes on Saturday. Peyton Manning, he's handled overtimes before. What a race. We've heard from Charlize Theron. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is here. Peyton Manning, the honorary, heard him talking earlier about handling the pace car. We have 6 drivers that are former champions of the sport, 8 drivers that have won a Daytona 500 before today. The average age in the field is just over 30, and nearly half the field drivers in their 20s. It's been an active speed weeks, getting closer to the moment and the words you like to hear.
Is no exception. Here to deliver the most famous words in motorsports for the 60th running of the Daytona 500. Please welcome Grand Marshal, 2-time Daytona 500 champion, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Welcome to the sold-out 2018 Daytona 500. Drivers, start your engines!